Hello, my friends. My name is Ryan Freeman. I am standing in a park very near my house in Taoyuan. It is still very noisy. I live in the hustle and bustle of a large city in Asia, and so I'm going to take this video down to the river. This video is in response to Benji Otto, who had asked a few weeks ago about my fitness routine, about my diet, and my thoughts on that. And then I was thinking about making that, and then Pizza Queen on my last video, or one of my last videos, asked how do I keep in shape despite traveling and living abroad. So that was 2 in a row, so I figured I better make that video. However, I was a little restless. I didn't want to do it in my apartment, so I've rigged my phone up, which is a lot easier to carry around. So the video might not be the highest quality, but I do have an external microphone, so hopefully the audio doesn't suck. Hopefully it's not too windy. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you get something from me. I just want to say that I am not a fitness expert, not a fitness guru. I am a human like you who has fitness, has his health as one of the things that he has to think about. Can't let slip too much. Right behind me is a temple. This is my local Taiwanese temple. The religion here, okay, I didn't say I was going to talk about religion, but mind and body are connected, right? And they are, but the main religion here is something I'm very interested in. They have a lot of dragons, a lot of lions, a lot of, I think, phoenixes, which for me, as a kind of a fantasy nerd growing up, I find very fascinating. It's a mixture of Taoism and Buddhism. But back to the fitness topic, I am going to sort of stop and record this video intermittently as I travel. I don't want to stay in the hustle and bustle of where I live, my neighborhood. So I'm going to take one of these bicycles right behind me. These are public bicycles. The name of this public bicycle system is called the U-Bike. They have a 2.0 up in Taipei. This is a 1.0. But it works really well. I basically scan a card and I could ride any of these bicycles for 30 minutes for free. And then once I park it, I have to wait 15 minutes, and I can ride it again. You can ride it more than 30 minutes, and you pay a very small amount. I have never ridden one of these things for more than 20 minutes because I just don't tend to travel all that far. It doesn't take me long, and I'm pretty quick on the bicycle. I will probably not do so much filming while riding. It's not a good idea to film while riding in any country, but here in Taoyuan, you really got to keep your wits about you when you're on the road. It's very fun, but a slip up can... Last weekend, I saw an accident. The guy slipped up. I had to help him off the ground. He was riding a scooter, so I don't want that to happen to me. All right, wish me luck. All right, you're probably wondering, where am I? You thought I was gonna go to a peaceful park or sit by the river. Well, I actually was undecided. I could find a very quiet spot over there and talk to you guys in relative peace, but where I parked my bicycle is right at the entrance of a series of hiking trails, and this scenic area is called Hutoushan. I'm pretty sure about that. I've only been one time, and you can hike. There, these paths crisscross. Some of the paths are more stone steps. There's temples, there's restaurants, there's playground facilities. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of, as you saw, a lot of vendors selling fruits, vegetables, toys, knickknacks, rice donuts, like all sorts, a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally see. Oh, one thing I wanted to say, you know, you see those birds? There's a lot of really cool looking birds here. I'm not much of a bird guy, so I don't actually know the names of them, but there are a lot of birds that catch my eye here. Big ones, colorful ones that I don't see in California. And yeah, so I don't know. Do you guys, should I go hiking or should I go find a quiet place and talk? Tell you what, I'm gonna hike for a little bit. You guys can take in some of it. I guess, okay, onto the fitness thing, because that was the idea of the video. I will say this. So the way I got to the hiking trail was I rode a bicycle and I had so much fun doing it. And so in one of my tenets of philosophy when it comes to fitness is have fun doing it, you know? I really have no sympathy, well, okay, a little sympathy, but I have, it's really hard for me to understand of always making fitness a grind and some terrible thing that you have to do. It's like the same thing with education. I think education should be fun. You should be drawn to the subjects that you enjoy. And then when you're passionate about a subject, educating yourself is a pleasure. It's not a grind. And the same thing with fitness. If you can find things that you enjoy that also work out your body and give you some blood circulation, then it's not a grind, it's fun. Or the grind becomes fun. But some people, they have this idea that life should be difficult, that education should be difficult, that work should be difficult. And so that's, hey man, if that works for them, that works for them. But for me, I need joy. So, okay, so I'm going to just walk and show you some of these things, and then once I get to a quiet spot, then I'll talk more about fitness and diet. Okay, here we go. You know, I prefer to hike a natural dirt trail or rock trail. I'll even take gravel, but you know, you have to take what you can get. And where I live, this is very convenient to get to, so I don't mind it. I'm getting a good workout, and it's very entertaining. I don't know what is around the next bend. People singing, a beautiful woman. I just saw a woman I was ready to give my heart to, but I was too embarrassed. She was with her mom. What kind of food, what kind of building will I see? I'm not going too fast, but I'm getting a workout. I'm sweating. My heart is beating. The blood is circulating. I'm in the fresh air. My skin is getting some vitamins from the sun. I'm surrounded by trees and bushes. Everyone's peaceful. The aerial roots of Ficus microcarpa. I never really liked the Latin names of trees and birds. It's just so difficult to pronounce. It sounds fancy if you know how to do it. But so yeah, I guess just to go back to, you know, you don't want to be bored exercising. You want to switch it up. You know, even I like hiking, I like running, but I need to diversify the trail. I guess if I came here every day, I might get bored with it. Luckily, there's a lot of places to explore in this world. Just like food. You know, if you might love spaghetti, but if you ate it every day, eventually you just wouldn't enjoy it so much. So I think with exercise, it's good to, if you're into running, run different trails. If you're into jiu-jitsu, fight different players. Jiu-jitsu, well, I'll talk about that in a second because we got something going on here. All right, I am on the orange route. I don't know what that means, but there are a lot of trails up here, so you will not get bored so quickly. Lots of things to see, and lots of places to stop, lots of snacks to buy. Cool thing about Taiwan is I never feel like I'm being price gouged. I mean, some things, I guess, you know, if like imported luxuries are going to be an exorbitant amount compared to what you might be used to, but the average things like, you know, bottles of water, cans of soda, sandwiches, that kind of stuff, it's never really that expensive. So that's really convenient, you know, because you don't really have to walk and pack all of your stuff that you might want for snacks, because you can just find it. Taiwanese are Chinese in a way, come from China originally. Chinese like to make money and they like convenience. No political anything like that. I try to stay clear of the China-Taiwan political issues, but that would be an interesting topic to talk about another time. So right now okay, here's another thing. If I can get my exercise outside versus inside, I will. Right now, I have the sun. Right now, I have the wind. The temperature is perfect. Like, you cannot believe it. Sure, it would be rather hot to do this in the summer, but right now it's so nice. So I guess another idea of mine, it's not an idea of mine, but take advantage of the weather. If you've got nice weather, get your exercise outside. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, as a joke, the mind and body are connected. I feel so much nicer when I come outside and I'm surrounded by trees and I can feel the air, hear the birds. It's, wow, there's a big event going on down there. Sometimes I like crowds of people. Sometimes I like to get away. What's cool about this area is I could sneak off and get away from the hustle and bustle, or I can dive right in. But like I was saying, see, I wander all over the place, both literally and metaphorically. Exercising outside, I don't understand if you've got beautiful weather, why you would run inside on a treadmill versus going outside. I think also going outside, it's what our spirit wants to do, but sometimes we're afraid. We're afraid of what might happen, bugs, sunstroke, dangerous highwaymen on the road who spring out and might ravage us. Okay, I've got it quite in the imagination, but it's good to go outside. Gives you reaffirms your courage. Especially, I think that's why people like going on dangerous trails alone. I mean, it really, things that take courage, you know, it's also exercise, but it does something for you mentally and spiritually and emotionally that it's hard to get in a big box gym or anything like that. Not trying to put down indoor training. I do jujitsu. All of my jujitsu training is indoors. Just is what it is. We sort of need mats, and until I can find the perfect outdoor gym, I guess I will be training indoors for now. That is the one thing I don't like about jujitsu, is that it's not the easiest sport to play, to just do pickup. You can't do pickup games of jujitsu very easily. You kind of have to go to a gym, go to a class, got to have the mats, got to have sort of the uniform for the most part, if you really want to do training. And so jujitsu is my staple right now. It used to be trail running. I used to run every other day, rain or shine, in hills from the age of 21 to 35. That was my main fitness routine every other day. So 3.5 days a week, basically is what it averaged out to. And that kept me in shape. Diet-wise, I stayed away from, I made sugared beverages kind of a special reward, so not too often. Tried to not make fast food a habit. Then after I got married, I sort of let myself go. Kind of transformed, gained a lot of weight. I don't know, I went through kind of that's another topic. I'm not going to get into that, guys. But kind of let myself go, got into jiu-jitsu, had some injuries from running, and so kind of stopped making running my go-to and made jiu-jitsu my go-to, which whenever I go running again, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go down this path. Whenever I go running again, it's like, oh, I miss it. It's like your old lover. But I love jiu-jitsu so much, and now I'm 40, and I have had some injuries, both from running and jiu-jitsu. And if you get injured, then you can exercise. Then your physical and mental shape really goes down. So another thing is, it's great to train while you're having fun. But if you end up getting injured and then you can't train anymore, that's really counterproductive. So you got to do what you're capable of. You got to feel your body, give it what it needs, listen to it. If you need to rest, you need to rest. If it's time to exercise, time to exercise. I would say for physical health in general, and this goes along with diet, you got to listen to your body. You got to listen to your body. Does it crave citrus? Does it crave meat? Does it crave fruit? I mean, you just got to listen to it. And I think the more you do that, the better your digestion, the better your satisfaction eating. You might be saying, well, what if my body's always craving hamburgers? Well, I don't know. Is it really your body who's craving hamburgers? I don't know. I'm not great with diet now. I used to be much better. Now I kind of eat whatever I want. But I do try not to overeat. And I'm at the end of the trail. No, I'll just go down the dirt. So I try not to overeat, which is kind of easy to do here in Asia because I just purchase their meals, and their meals are never gonna stuff me, this big American man. But I tended to overeat when I was in America because I would cook a lot, and I would just make enormous portions for myself. Oh, that's another thing. Sorry, I'm talking a lot, but this is what you asked for. Well, I don't know, maybe you didn't, but someone did. I find it's a lot easier to stay in shape kind of in a very active lifestyle and in an environment where you're on the move with your own legs. So let me just explain. When I first went to Europe when I was 21, I noticed a lot of the Swiss people were in fantastic shape, and they weren't really like dieting or going to gyms. They were just, they're bicycling to the market, it was through their life, you know. Women would bicycle to the market, pick up the fruit, pick up the vegetables, do that every other day. Whereas, you know, in America, a lot of people would just drive to the market once a week, load it up, and then drive home. I think having an active lifestyle can really, oh God, I'm gonna sneeze, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm a loud sneezer. I have definitely gone off the trail, so let's see how I can get back on it. Okay, back to what I was saying. In America, I find that driving, picking up your groceries in your car, like doing everything with your car, at least in Southern California, was never really conducive to me staying thin. And it might even be something in the food like hormones. I have no idea. But I always found that it's actually easier for me to at least stay a good 10, 15 pounds lighter when I'm living in Asia. Maybe it's their portion size. Maybe it's the fact that I'm always walking and moving my own body rather than driving. I don't know. What do you think? Put it down in the comments. Now, one thing I think is a hidden benefit of exercise is not just you feel more confident about your body image or that you're healthier. It's you sleep better. When I do jujitsu, on the days I do jujitsu or the days I get a lot of exercise, I always end up having a much deeper, more relaxing sleep. And so what happens, the reason I have to exercise every other day is that if I let a couple days go by and I get no exercise, I am very restless, not only through the day, but through the night. So it's almost like, in some ways, yes, exercise is fun, exercise is beneficial, but sometimes it's like, you got to purge the demon out of you, you know what I mean? I'm sure some of you do. Maybe for some of you, exercise is the demon. But once you have made a habit of it, you kind of do need it. It's like any habit. It can be an addiction. Now, let me talk about upper body versus lower body. When I was a runner, I would run, and that would be my only lower body exercise. I didn't do squats or anything like that. And for upper body, I would do push-ups and pull-ups. So I always brought a pull-up bar. In China, I had a pull-up bar. In Japan, I had a pull-up bar. And if I didn't have a pull-up bar, because sometimes, like Japanese old houses, it's hard to hang one up because of the way the doorways are structured, I would go down to the park. Parks all around the world have pull-up bars. So this goes to Pizza Queen's question, because Pizza Queen said, how do you stay in shape when you travel all around the world? And once again, I just want to mention that I am in good shape relative to some, bad shape relative to others. But my thoughts on keeping a certain level of fitness is whatever exercise that I plan to do, whatever exercise I plan to make as part of my routine, whatever my exercise goals are, I want them to be sustainable no matter where I go. This idea first dawned on me when I met a 6'10" black bouncer at a bar in LA, nicest guy in the world. His name was Mars, M-A-R-S. He was striking not only because he was 6'10", handsome, black, had a deep voice, but his arms were gigantic. I mean, he was in proportion. He was like a really buff man. And he said, you would not believe it, but it takes me 4 hours a day of lifting heavy weights just to maintain these arms. And I thought, holy shit. What would happen if he went backpacking for 4 months? Those arms would shrivel up, I guess. So I told myself, as cool as it would be to have massive pythons and be able to lift a car, I don't want to be chained to weights or a gym. So that's when I thought, well, push-ups and pull-ups, and if you want to throw in sit-ups, which I've done before, at least push-ups and pull-ups I can do pretty much anywhere. I could do push-ups as long as I have the ground, and I can pull myself up as long as I can find something to pull myself up, whether it's a pull-up bar I purchase on Amazon or from a store, or I go to the park, or a tree. So I always thought those, even if they didn't make me as buff as Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would at least be able to have some arm strength and be able to sustain it anywhere I went. So a lot of times when I would travel, I was much more fitness oriented in my 20s. You know, everything kind of changes when you're not a bachelor anymore. When you're a young bachelor, you're trying to stay in tip-top shape, you know, because you're out in the market. Once I got married, I kind of let myself go. Now I'm kind of a bachelor again. Kind of. So it's another topic. So now fitness is a little bit more in my mind again. But I would always look for opportunities to get some exercise. So I'd be on the bus in China, and you'd have those handhold rails, and I would just kind of suspend myself in the air. Try to always just work some exercise in. When I was in jail in Japan, goddamn, I had tons of time to exercise. I got ripped. Speaking of that, there's some pull-up bars right here. I just saw a guy do some pull-ups. I will say this, I'm pretty good at push-ups, but pull-ups, I am not. I'll show you. I am very bad at pull-ups. Especially the kind where you spread your arms out. So I'll do some pull-ups for you guys. Like I said, terrible. Don't judge me. Oh, see guys. I'm not very good at pull-ups. That was the underhand kind. The overhand kind, I would have been lucky if I did 3 or 4. I've always been bad at pull-ups. And I've always been good at push-ups. This goes all the way back to childhood, way before puberty. I don't know what that is. I have some friends that are bad at both. Some friends that are good at both. Okay, here's another idea. One of the reasons why I think it's sometimes you got to figure out your fitness, your exercise, your diet yourself, because our body types are so different. Our interests and personalities are so different. For some people, they're just naturals in the water. So they love swimming. They're good at it. Me, I get bored pretty quickly. And I'm just moderate at it. So for some people, swimming is a great option. I love competition. I love to physically dominate other men. No sexual motivation, but that's why I do jiu-jitsu. It's an individual sport. I've always done better at individual sports. Tennis, running. And I like it, jiu-jitsu, because it's a total body workout as well. I work out my legs, my abs, my arms, everything. So I guess the idea is, you could follow other people's advice. I know no one's coming on this channel for fitness advice really, but the advice is to listen to your own inner voice on what it likes to do. But sometimes we have another inner voice that says, don't do anything. So don't listen to that inner voice. Listen to the other one that says, this is fun. This feels good. This is life. Listen to that inner voice. That's why I'm hiking right now. I thought I'd have a lazy day. But this one voice was saying, be lazy. Another voice said, no, you got to get out and go. I was restless. I couldn't sit down anymore in my apartment. I was going crazy. As soon as I got up and left, I started feeling fantastic. And I still do right now. Then when I go home and shower and have a beer, I'm going to feel even better. And I'm probably going to stop by the park and chill out before I do that and read a book. I've been reading a book, mystery book from Friedrich Schiller from the late 18th century, German writer and poet that I've had on my list of people to read. I'll have that book review coming soon. Almost finished. Oh, goodness gracious. When you read some of these people, you realize how the orders of magnitude of mental and psychological clarity that exists amongst humans and perspectives of life. What some people see as a tragedy, others people see as a relief. Okay, now I'm just ranting, but that's what happens. Another reason I like hiking and running is it allows my thoughts just to sort of come out, because I'm not inundated. Although I would say that today I'm a little distracted by holding this camera, and there are a lot of people on the trail because it's the weekend. I've heard if I come here on a weekday, it's pretty much empty and they don't have those markets. So, okay, here's another lesson. When to work out. Choose your time. If you're someone who doesn't like crowds, then you got to find a time of the day where people aren't on the trail if trail hiking or running is your thing. Or a time at the gym, finding your times. With jiu-jitsu, I actually prefer to train in the morning. Unfortunately, I can't do that, so I have to train at night. I just love jiu-jitsu so much that I'll make the sacrifice. Can't always have the ideal schedule, the ideal life, but as close as you can get it is a good idea. I just saw a couple kids. I love the kids, especially when they're young. They don't need anyone's advice about what to do. They know. Go out and play, have fun, and they get their exercise that way. It's funny that adults, we need to hire personal trainers and get scientific about it. Not knocking you if you're that type of person. We all approach life and its various aspects differently. Just airing out my opinion, however benighted it might be. Yeah. So out on the trail, you can talk and sing and let your ideas out for... now I didn't think of a word. Usually when I try to extemporaneously rhyme something. If it goes poorly, no one hears it. And if it goes well, no one hears it. Now you just heard how sometimes I just fail. Oh my God, I feel good. Now, back to age. I am pretty sure that I will have some lower back pain when I'm home. But you know, as you get older, if you collect injuries, you collect these characteristics, idiosyncrasies of your physical apparatus that sometimes nag at you and stay with you. I have had this lower back issue for the past 3.5 years, or at least 3 years, I would say. And I can kind of trace it back to jiu-jitsu. I had a coach. I'm pretty sure the technique he taught was pretty bad. I'm not going to say his name, but he taught us a way of getting out of a headlock, which put a lot of strain on the lower back. I remember thinking that at the time, and that's around the time I noticed that I had lower back pain. But I can't blame him completely, you know, because just modern day life I don't think is really good for our spine. You know, we spend so much time sitting down at a computer, or sitting down in a car, or our beds are too. Oh, speaking of sleeping, look at this guy. Sleeping on the dirt, while most of us have to have soft beds and pillows, complain about our lack of lumbar support. Now I'm just talking ad nauseum about meaningless things because that's what I like to do. And if you're still listening, tell me. I'm still listening, Ryan. Oh my God. God bless you. I love you. You're a super supporter. I'm still walking, and I don't know where I'm walking to. I have no idea where I'm going. Following this lady. The path it's nice. It's rocky, dirty. It's quiet. Although, you're never too far away from the sound of a car. It's modern life. Sometimes what I like about hiking in trails is sometimes I can almost forget that I live in a city. And then my imagination plays with the idea of what life must have been like for my ancestors, where there were no trails, where they wandered the earth with wide eyes, strong arms, sharp senses, and a world full of excitement, mystery, and danger. And it still is full of mystery, and there's still a lot of dangers, but different kinds. I don't know if you were able to see that spider back there very clearly, but it was about 10 times the size of the average spider you might find in your house. I mean, it was gigantic. I have seen bigger spiders in Costa Rica, but that was the biggest spider I've seen in many years. And it made me wonder, what would it be like if that thing bit you? Now, I'm going to knock on wood because I really don't want that to happen to me. Oh, I'm not even on a trail anymore. I'm just on like a wash. Oh, well. But what would happen if a spider of that magnitude, that size, bit you? I mean, it would be just a terrible day. Is that why people don't go hiking? Is that why people don't get out there into the wilderness and off the beaten path because of all the dangers that could happen? I think so. I think we let fear stop us from a lot of things from our potential, stop us from realizing our potential, stop us from having fun. You know, that spider could bite me. I could slip. I'm wearing flip-flops going down a washed out trail while filming. But you know what? Fuck it. If it happens, it happens. We're all gonna die, folks. We're all gonna die. None of us is getting out of here alive. Sorry to break it to you. Let's have some fun and be responsible, but have some fun before we say our adieu. Okay, almost to some civilized trail. Almost there. Dun 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 dun. That's why we like watching Indiana Jones, because he's out there. He's facing the dangers, putting his life in his own hands as he adventures throughout the world, and so am I, with relative safety though. Nothing but big spiders or slippery rocks to deal with. No cannibals, no ancient curses. Very safe life. It doesn't get safer than this, folks. We live in the 21st century. We got to simulate combat by signing up for jiu-jitsu. Our ancestors used to have real combat. Not that I want real combat, trust me. Pretty happy to be a 21st century kid. Many ways, anyways. All right. I think I'm going to start heading down. I'd like to... I don't know, I've got to meet my landlady. One of the chairs in my apartment broke. It was a furnished apartment. I think she's the type that doesn't like to get rid of broken things, so she might want to fix it. I don't know. She wants to meet. So I got to go meet her. I'd like to start editing this video. See if it's actually worthy of publishing. And I wouldn't mind having a beer. Okay, let's keep it going. One of the last things I guess I will really want to say is the benefit of making videos like this is you kind of get to see a changing scenery. It's not just me sitting down in front of, you know, a wall or some books, but you get to see some life around. Of course, some drawbacks. Camera is not the best. It's a little shaky. But here's the thing. I think I probably didn't really answer. Oh, there's some wild dogs here, by the way. I see a pack of, there's a few, 4 up there, a couple down here. Okay, here's something interesting. Apparently, there's a lot of wild black dogs because, according to Chinese ideas, superstition, black dogs are very unlucky, black cats as well. So they abandon, I've heard, they abandon black cats and black dogs. And maybe you can see them, they're kind of looking around. Maybe they belong to someone, but I've heard that there are quite a few that just sort of live here, feral. And you know, with wild dogs, you don't really see them that often in America, but in other countries you do. Okay, so back to the topic. What I was gonna say is I probably have been distracted so often that I didn't really do a good job of answering either Pizza Queen or Benji Atta's questions. So if anyone has any pointed questions about diet or fitness or about anything, please write it down in the comments. And if you have a list of questions, you can write a list of questions, and maybe I'll do a Q&A where I will not be distracted, where I will just answer your questions. If there are questions. If there aren't, that's okay too. Okay, so I'm just throwing it out there in case you wanted to know specifics that I was too distracted or thoughtless to tackle today. And I apologize for that. But I promise that I will if you write them down for me. Okay. Here I am once again. I think I'm gonna do the reverse trek. I should get a map and figure out the routes a little more systematically. Or actually, I'd probably just come up here more often. I'll figure it out just by my own exploration. But I'm pretty sure there are some badass routes that I have not seen yet. So it gives me a reason to come back, which is nice. Okay, I'm gonna hike down. I don't think there's much more to show you. If there is, then I will pull out the camera and show you. So tell me what you thought of the video. Would you like to come to Hutoushan? Would you like to visit Taoyuan? If you come to visit Taoyuan within the next several months to a year, there's a good chance I'll still be here. So let me know if you do. Bye-bye.